What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and welcome to Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening walkthrough part number 8 with catchy name. And, what are we doing? Animal Village! Yay! You probably knew that because of the name and the thumbnail, and because you've been following this walkthrough, and you're awesome. Thank you. So, in our last episode, we got the slime key, and we defeated the big old slime in the key cavern. Get it? Because the slime and the key cavern. And almost as importantly, if not more so, we got the Pegasus boots, which allows us to run super duper fast. We now have enough rupees to purchase the bow and arrow. So first, let's head to Mabe Village, because we're super duper close to it. Bow and arrow. Thanks a lot, coming in. Let's head down to the trendy game and see what super cool statue is going to be available. It's Boo! Curtain. Now, I don't know if that's it. I just did between purple and green. Perfect. Wow. I could not have done that better if I had done it many times before and practiced it several times. And if we leave and go back where the Boo was, there's now a piece of heart. And, yeah, you best believe we're gonna get that. I'm gonna go for the same timing that I had for Boo, but slightly earlier, so directly under purple number 2. Because it can squeeze in the middle. And is that good? Is it gonna fall out? Please don't fall out. It didn't fall out. Sweet, dude. Listen to the clank. I love that they made it, like, as metal as it looks. While we're here in Mabe Village, there are a few things that we need to go and grab. No matter what, we have to come back here, so we might as well now head over here and drop off the Boo statue to the boys. The boys love their Boo statue. Boo goes on the table. You'll also notice that the dad is missing. That's because he's now part of our quest line for our trade sequence, which we need to give the honeycomb to someone, and then that item goes to the dad. First up, while we're here, as soon as we leave that house, let's go back to the Sleepy House, or Dream Shrine, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it the Sleepy House, because I like that. These are the guys that we're talking about that function much like the Shy Guys, to the point that I don't know if that's what a Shy Guy looks like with his mask off, and now I have nightmares about it. Pretty sure it's just a naked Shy Guy. I'm going to go with Naked Shy Guy, because I like that more canonically. Anyway, so these guys, just like the Shy Guys, you can back up to them and spin attack them, but then you have to deal with these falling floor pieces, which become very difficult, and you could have come back in here much earlier as soon as you got the chance to pick up the rock, but there was only a rupee in here. But now that we have the Pegasus boots, you just tap and hold L. Done. Anytime that you are activating your Pegasus boots, they don't move forward, which is neat. So they just stand there and wait to die. And up here is the rupee that we could have gotten earlier. I believe it's 100. 100. And we break this tent, head up here, and we get our new item, the ocarina. The item collect sound is played with an ocarina, and I love that. This is a really neat thing to do. If you play it before knowing songs, well, it's an ocarina, but you don't know how to play it. They're not wrong. I don't know how to play an ocarina. Now, if you've been neglecting Dampe's shack up until now is a good time to actually come in here because we can get our first, like, important item from him. After you complete the first 3 quests, which you could totally cheese in and do super short ones. I've did this one in 1:17, 57 seconds, 1:15. You can do fill up your hearts, and then you also unlock level 2, but fill up your hearts is important. I mean, again, ultimately, you can cheese this by just placing down very simple things that don't require a lot of work. And what I mean by cheese it is, so I set this up, I enter, I get this item, I go through this staircase, I come out here to this easy room, I go through there, I get this item, that's the boss key, that's an easy room, and that's the boss. And time. And doing the quest Fill Up Your Hearts gives you a Secret Seashell. And a heart! That's what I was waiting for. So hopefully you did your little Dampé quest, and now we're going to head to the Seashell Mansion. Next, we're going to go from the Seashell Mansion to, remember that heart that I told you to put on your map before? Well, that's where we're going. There's still a bunch of stuff we're gonna do, and a lot of seashells we're gonna get. There was a piece of grass there. I cut it before, off camera, sorry. Now that we can pop these, pop them. And as you can see in the deep water, there is a piece of heart down there, so we're gonna keep that piece of heart marked on our map. Heading outside to this beautiful fresh air, we can start using our arrow. Bow and arrow. Because, golly, do we need it. If we head to the right, the owl comes and talks to us, but he actually is talking about a later thing. Like, what he's prepping us on has nothing to do with what we're doing now, which is kind of funny. Anyways, let's head to the right. And there's some, what are these called? Tic-tacs? Tic-tacs? There's some tic-tacs over here, and we're going to head to the top right corner. And our seashell sensor goes off. And now let's also head to the top left of here. Hopefully you have some bombs on you. Place one in front of that doorway. And let's go inside. Here is another Great Fairy Fountain. This is our second hidden one, including the one in the swamp. Right there, that makes 3. Heading back to this big rock maze. Over here is an owl that you can talk to, who doesn't say anything important. And one of the features of having the Pegasus boots is you can run into a tree. Like that. And there's always a fairy in this tree right here. That's because that in the original game, this was a location of a secret seashell. And since this location moved, they made it so it's a fairy tree, which is pretty neat. Now, heading south of here is an area called the Ancient Ruins that you don't need to go to yet. In fact, there's a very difficult boss right here that I think we could take on now. Although it's completely optional, so I'm gonna save that for later. But now that we have our bow and arrow, there's actually a hidden area that we can access. And these Stalfos, you can shoot them with an arrow, and if you do, they drop 1 arrow. Just like that. So, you get your money back on it. Alternatively, you could take out your shield and just kind of push them out of your way, as long as there's enough room. The arrow seems much faster. However, if you notice this one slightly colored floor piece right here, touch the bottom guy, and there's a staircase. And a secret seashell. Neat. So now we're going to backtrack all the way back to that staircase that we came out of from that underground area, located right here. And we're going to make our way to the Animal Village. Welcome to the Animal Village. Our first order of business is cut the grass because I don't know who lives here. It's like a bunch of animals live here who just let the grass grow. Crazy. In this bottom right house is a bear. He wants our honeycomb because bears love honey. How stereotypical. And he wants to give us a pineapple. I'm okay with that. Now, to the south of where that bear is, there's a warp point. And we're going to activate that right now? Yeah, we're going to activate that right now. Great. And step on that warp point. And we're going to use our warp point to go to Martha's Bay. We're going to head down. And remember this chasm we couldn't cross before? Well, now we can. Like a boss. So this gives us much faster access back to the beach. At the shores, which is perfect because Marin is here. And this is like the only cutscene in the game. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's really nice. It's sort of like a bonding time that Link and Marin have together. And now the funny part is, as soon as it's done, we hold up Marin like an item. Also, she's wearing a dress. She is a girl. I am a boy. She is above me. Just stating the obvious. And I love this. The overworld theme becomes more woodwindy. So beautiful. There's actually a few fun things that we can do. Heading to the left of where we were, I want to head down because there's 2 seashells that we can get down by the seashore. One of them is in this tree right here. Located right here. Nice. Also, there's a few fun things you can do with her. One includes going down the well. I recommend you try that out. She lands on Link. My favorite one, though, has to be inside of the crane game. And just because we've gone to the crane game so many times, we're gonna head in here. Marin says, can I try this? What do you say? You could say, okay. It costs you 10 rupees, and then she does this. And decapitates the salesman. No, just kidding. The trendy gamester says, you're good. You're a pro, aren't you? Well, beat it. Pros aren't allowed in here. And then he kicks you out. Now we're gonna take a quick detour to Dampe's shack again. And remember when I said this entranceway right here? We're gonna come back here many, many times. Well, here's one of the times that we're coming back. Just power our way through the rooms here and back up to this room that we weren't able to progress further without the Pegasus boots, but now we can. And there's a chest over there, and it's gonna be much later, so don't worry about it for now. I'm just gonna mark it down. And hey, look, it's the dad of those boys. Let's head inside this hole right here. This just contains a slime, don't worry about it. And now we're outside. Also, our sensor is gonna go off, and just like the seashell that we got by throwing a bomb into right there, there's another hole over here. However, we have to be up there, and that's later in the game, so I'm just gonna mark it down. He wants some vitales. I think that means vitamins. Either way, you give him the pineapple. And he gives you a hibiscus, which is a beautiful flower for a beautiful lady. We're gonna have to go back there either way, but it's important that we have the hibiscus now, because now we can give it to the person who requires it, and it's just overall a little bit better for us. This house right here. Our sensor is gonna go off. Talk to this lady, she wants a hibiscus. And we got a love letter. It's called a goat's letter, but it has a heart on it. And we might as well do this now, is continue our trade sequence slightly. So let's warp back to Dampe's shack, and we're gonna do that run that we have done many times before to the left. Again, bypassing the swamp entirely. And remember that guy from SimCity that I was telling you about? We're gonna go over to him, and he says he loves letters, so we're gonna give him this love letter. Get it? This is a great thing here. So they're like sort of pen pals, but dating. If you don't know what a pen pal is, that's basically instant messaging someone, but back when they only had letters. And look, the letter came with a photograph. That's not a goat. That's Princess Peach. So the great part is that goat is catfishing this guy and writing all these beautiful things and saying, this is what I look like, and including a picture of Princess Peach. But if you notice on the left, there's a hoof print. So I think it's pretty fun. She's so beautiful. I must give you something for your trouble. And I get a broom. That's what you always want. The description says, you got a broom as your reward from Mr. Right. But that photo was not of... And here back in Mabe Village, let's go talk to Grandma. And you know who wants brooms? Old ladies. She's ecstatic for her new broom. And I get a fishing hook. I'm sorry that had so much back and forth, but there was really not like a faster way to do that. And I've like plotted it out several times, and this is the most effective way, unfortunately. So from Animal Village and that warp point, we're gonna head south. Also now we can run into trees and collect apples, and the green ones give you hearts, or well, more hearts than the red ones do. It's that lazy walrus, give him a surprise. Yep. And she sings the Ballad of the Windfish. I've never seen a walrus move that much. Neither has Link. He seemed pretty surprised by it. And now the bunny convinces Marin to go back to the village and sing for everybody. And that's actually where we're going to. Because now that we have the ocarina and we just saw her perform that song, we get a nice little cutscene here. And she sings for us and we get to play it on our ocarina. This might be the thumbnail. And I learned the Ballad of the Windfish. Hooray! The Ballad of the Windfish is used for essentially 3 things in the game. The main one being how you enter or wake up the windfish at the very end of the game. Also, that enemy that is that big hoppy thing that you defeat with pots, if you play that, it dies. And the third is, if we play the song in this spot, the walrus, who we just saw, says, "Arf, arf, arf. Marin? Marin? Link?" He wants nothing to do with us, but he gives us a seashell, which is nice. That was actually kind of like a useless Easter egg back in the original game, but now if you perform it, you get that. Anyways, let's head into the desert, where we experience another Mario character. They're Pokies. And there's a overworld mini-boss right here. Annoyance, you're only getting in the way. And if you head to the middle, like I just did, on purpose to show you, you can bomb right there, and inside is a piece of heart. And that increases our number of hearts. Yay, we're now at 10. That's our first full row complete, which is pretty awesome. And go do that battle. Oh, while we're here, we might as well also use our shovel for that secret seashell. Let's defeat the evil millipede. All you need to do is hit its head and avoid its body, and especially its tail, and definitely do not walk into the middle, like I did before. If you're in a position that you can't hit its head from just the half a screen that you're going to be on, I like to be on the bottom half, then don't worry about it. It's not worth falling into the hole and starting the whole fight over again. Also, if you find the right distance for your left joystick, you can just do this nice stroll. And that kills him. Perfect. He drops the key. Don't let it fall down the hole. And don't fall down the hole yourself, because otherwise it's just down here and you're fine. And that's the angler key. Even though it looks like it's broken, it's not, I promise. From here, we're going to head to the south of this small patch of desert. This is like the world's smallest desert. Don't quote me on. I mean, it's Zelda world's smallest desert. Normally they're like giant, expansive areas. Lift up that rock for a seashell. Fantastic, that is every single thing that needs to be done in the desert, and now we can leave it forever. And as soon as we leave, the owl talks to us again. The shape of the key shows a fish. Now go to the mountain waterfall. From here, we're gonna head directly up. And up once more. Now this tunnel right here requires us to have an item that we do not have yet, but there's a piece of heart. Sweet, dude. And it opened up. Now, I do want to show off something pretty neat about this game, and it's extremely situational. You are not going to use this a lot. But if you head up here, you see that cracked boulder right there? If you equip your arrow and your bombs, and I like Y for the arrows, X for the bombs, and you sort of press them both, but first the arrow, then the bomb, you shoot a bomb arrow. And like your timing has to be so perfect in order to do it. We're not going to be able to cross that till later. Also, you notice that Grandma's over here with her broom. But anyways, let's go talk to the goat that we spoke with before, aka Princess Goat Peach. You gave my letter? I'm not kidding when I say this means a lot to me, because I was totally catfishing him and I don't want him to know that I'm actually a goat. There's one more in this house, but it requires the very end of the trade sequence. You'll also hear that cry as soon as you walk in, and you'll see the vibrations in the pond, and there's a reason for that, but we're just gonna come back to it later. Oh, also we're gonna come back to that cave where there's a piece of heart after we get the item for that. And before we head off to the dungeon, there is one last location that I want to go to, because that's going to be our 30th seashell, and getting our 30th seashell before our 4th instrument is kind of a feat. I actually didn't plan it out this good. It just kind of worked out this good. So, yeah. You're just gonna follow this path that I'm going here and get electrocuted by that cucumber. Very important, make sure you get electrocuted. And actually, right underneath this bridge, oh, I did not mean to jump off right there. Right underneath this bridge is something that we're gonna have to go to soon. But pull out your shovel, dig next to the owl, and boom, Secret Seashell is there. If you don't get electrocuted by that cucumber, that seashell might not be there, just telling you. I'm joking. I hope you know I'm joking. Now that we have 30 seashells, we're gonna head back to the seashell cavern, because now we get a prize for 30 seashells. I hope you have 30 seashells at this point. If not, you may have missed something somewhere. I recommend going back to the older episodes, looking for a more in-depth guide. And this box is gonna give us a rock. We are finally on our way to the next dungeon, which is great. We're gonna make our way to Tall Heights. We already found where this key goes before, and we're gonna put it in the hole. And the waterfall is just gonna stop magically. It's gonna split like the Red Sea and Moses. Now from here is just a matter of getting inside, and I bet you're gonna be excited to hear this. We're making our way back to this hole. This hole that we've come back to so many times. I mean, I guess in hindsight, it would have made sense to wait for the pineapple part until right now, because we're literally passing the hole that you go in for the pineapple stuff. And right here is where we have to go. Now, we actually can't go any more that way because that's deep water right there, even though it's not that different of color. You can see on the very right side of the screen in the water a seashell. I've actually already marked it right there, as well as a few more in the world that we're gonna have to get. But we just hop down here and boom! That brings us to the fish's mouth. The catfish. That's the theme of this episode. We did the catfish letter. Now we're going into the catfish mouth. Quick recap. So far we have the sea lily bell. We have 17 pieces of heart and secret seashells that we have found. Which we're doing pretty darn good. You are doing good. If your hearts and secret seashells match this, you're doing pretty darn good, just saying. Well, I'm wrapping this up. This was quite a hefty recap episode, just saying. But guys, if you haven't done so, be sure to hit the like button down below. If you're finding these tips and tricks and guides helpful, if you hit the like button, that increases the chance of other people finding my videos. And for that, I appreciate you, just saying. If you're not already, subscribe. I don't know why you wouldn't be, but till next time, Austin John out.